some of the dwarves who happened to be outside. I was one, luckily, a fine adventurous lad in those days, always wandering about, and it saved my life that day. Well, from a good way off, we saw the dragon settle on our mountain in a spout of flame. Then he came down the slopes, and when he reached the woods, they all went up in fire. By that time, all the bells were ringing in Dale, and the warriors were arming. The dwarves rushed out of their great gate, but there was the dragon waiting for them. None escaped that way. The river rushed up in steam, and a fog fell on Dale, and in the fog the dragon came on them and destroyed most of the warriors. The usual unhappy story. It was only too common in those days. Then he went back and crept in through the front gate, and routed all the halls, and lanes, and tunnels, alleys, cellars, mansions, and passages. After that there was no dwarves left alive inside, and he took all their wealth for himself. Probably, for that is the dragon's way, he has piled it all up in a great heap far inside, and sleeps on it for a bed. Later he used to crawl out of the great gate and come by night to Dale, and carry away people, especially maidens, to eat, until Dale was ruined, and all the people dead or gone. What goes on there now I don't know for certain, but I don't suppose anyone lives nearer to the mountain than the far edge of the long lake nowadays. Few of us that were well outside sat and wept in hiding, and cursed Smog, and there we were, unexpectedly joined by my father and my grandfather with singed beards. They looked very grim, but they said very little. When I asked how they had got away, they told me to hold my tongue, and said that one day at the proper time I should know. After that we went away, and we haven't had to earn our livings as best we could up and down the lands, often enough sinking as low as blacksmith's work, or even coal mining. But we have never forgotten our stolen treasure, and even now, when I will allow we have a good bit laid by, and are not so badly off, we still mean to get it back, and to bring our curses home to Smog, if we can. I have often wondered about my father's and my grandfather's escape. I see now they must have had a private side door, by which only they knew about, but apparently they made a map, and I should like to know how Gandalf got hold of it, and why it did not come down to me, the rightful heir. I did not get hold of it. I was given it. Your grandfather Thror was killed, you remember, in the mines of Moria by Azog the Goblin. Curse his name! Yes. And Thrain, your father, went away on the 21st of April, 100 years ago last Thursday, and has never been seen by you since. True, true. Well, your father gave me this to give to you, and if I have chosen my own time and way for handling it over, you can hardly blame me, considering the trouble I had to find you. Your father could not remember his own name when he gave me the paper, and he never told me yours, so on the whole I think I ought to be praised and thanked. Here it is. I don't understand. Your grandfather gave the map to his son for safety before he went to the mines of Moria. Your father went away to try his luck with the map after your grandfather was killed, and lots of adventures of a most unpleasant sort he had, but he never got near the mountain. How he got there I don't know, but I found him a prisoner in the dungeons of the necromancer. Whatever were you doing there? Never you mind. I was finding things out, as usual, and a nasty dangerous business it was. Even I, Gandalf, only just escaped. I tried to save your father, but it was too late. He was witless and wandering, and had forgotten almost everything except the map and the key. We have long ago paid the goblins of Moria. We must give a thought to the necromancer. Don't be absurd. He is an enemy far beyond the powers of all the dwarves put together, if they could all be collected again from the four corners of the world. But one thing your father wished me was for his son to read the map and use the key. The dragon and the mountains are more than big enough tasks for you. Hear, hear. Hear what? Hear what I have got to say." "What's that?" "Well, I should say that you ought to go east and have a look around. After all, there is the side door, and the dragons must sleep sometimes. I suppose, if you sit on the doorstep long enough, you'll think of something. And, well, don't you know, I think we have talked long enough for one night, if you see what I mean. What about bed, and an early start, and all that? I will give you a good breakfast before you go."
Before we go, I suppose you mean. Aren't you the burglar, and isn't sitting on the doorstep your job? Not to speak of getting inside the door. But I agree about bed and breakfast. I like 6 eggs with my ham when starting on a journey, fried, not poached, and mind you don't bake 'em. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns gold, we must away ere break of day to find our long forgotten gold.